So I'm going to hit record. I'm going to introduce Becca. I'm really super excited. I have been wanting to interview you for a long, long time. Let me just pull up my notes. So it's really crazy tonight. I mean, you know what? I thought like after the mint shakes it would slow down a little bit, but it has not. And I feel like the weather is getting warmer and people are ready. You know what? Like Thanksgiving and Christmas, and now they're ready to make a fresh start. So as you guys come on, just mute your lines, please, so we can have a nice clear line. Okay, so
How do you go back to Miss to you?
Mom. I hear a lot of moms. Okay. Okay. So welcome everyone to our Wednesday night leadership call. I know everyone is super busy and working really hard, and I really appreciate you guys taking time out to be here. And what I can tell you is that anytime I am on a team call with another leader, I always receive value. I always learn so much. And this young lady is just amazing. So let me give her a proper introduction. Please welcome to the call, Becca Owens Johnson. Becca is a former Division I college volleyball player. She has a Master of Science in Health. Wow, health promotion, which is pretty amazing. That's a lot more science knowledge than I So she's going to be able to teach us a thing or two tonight. She is a wife. She's a mama to two beautiful children. She has been with Isagenix for 5 years, and she is one of our most recent millionaires. And I just think it's amazing because you look at someone like this who's a busy mom, who's a wife, who's, doing her thing, and in the pockets of her spare time, she can still make magic happen with Isagenix. So this is not just for him or her. This is for anyone who's going to give it some serious time and effort. So let me make sure that I'm not missing anything because she has so many beautiful accolades here. She was recognized as Women of Isagenix Award recipient. She was a shooting star. She's an Isagenix millionaire. She's a 3-star executive, 7-star Golden Circle. Whoa, 7-star Golden Circle. That is 200 cycles. And for anyone that doesn't know what 7-star is, multiply 200 by 54 by 52 weeks, and you'll kind of get an idea. So welcome to our call back. I'm super excited to have you here.
Thank you so much. I'm so honored that you asked me to be on the call. I love doing these. They're my favorite.
Awesome. You know what? And you must be good at it. I've heard a lot of wonderful things about you, and thank you for saying yes. And, quite frankly, I don't know any other business where you can ask someone successful to come to your team and share all their secrets and nuggets. And they're like, yeah, sure. Most other companies, they're like hiding,
I know, it's the best. I always tell people my favorite thing about working this business is the friends that I've made through Isagenix, and it truly is just people helping people, no matter if we're financially linked or not. And I just really want to acknowledge you and your team and what a blessing you are to them. And you guys are so blessed to have Angela leading the way, and it's just so cool to watch what you guys are doing. So
thank you, my friend. Thank you. So how did you get introduced to Isagenix? And did you come on for business or did you come on to improve your health?
Yeah, so my husband, Ryan, Dr. Ryan Johnson, he's actually more of the science guy than I am. So don't drill me too much on science stuff, but I'm happy to shed light there too. Anyway, we were living in Montana at the time, and he was expanding his physical therapy practice. And the owner of that gym said, yeah, I would love for you to expand your practice into my office, but you should take a look at Isagenix. And to be quite honest with you, I wanted nothing to do with it. With the background that I had in health and wellness, I was super skeptical. I didn't think it was anything that we needed. When you have 8 years of college level education and a master's degree in health and wellness, you're taught eat healthy, exercise. We never, I was so turned off by the whole idea. And so a couple months later, Ryan brought Isagenix home, and I was so mad. And, I wanted every reason for him to not do it. And he said, you know what? I'm going to try it. I'm going to prove it wrong. That's literally what he said. I'm going to prove it wrong, and I'm going to send it back at the end of 30 days. I'm going to get all my money back. And I said, okay, well, you just do that thing. Well, 2 weeks to Ryan being on the system, I looked at him, I said, I don't know what you're doing, but don't ever stop. He was happier. He was sleeping better. He was leaner. The abs were popping back out, which was really nice. But I still didn't want anything to do with it. And it wasn't until about a month and a half, 2 months later that I was just, at that point in my life, I was a small business owner. I had a fitness business for kids. I was formerly a public school health and physical education teacher. I was also teaching classes at the university. And I was just juggling so much. And so honestly, Angela, what I wanted, even though I didn't want to admit it, is I needed ease and convenience in my life. Food, I don't know if you guys can relate to this, but food was stressing me out. The prepping, the planning, knowing I wasn't always getting what I needed. And I was crashing really hard at 3:00. And so Ryan actually said yes first, and then I came along later. And then it actually took me a good year and a half before I ever wanted to share it. I used the products for a year before I really wanted to share it. And that time, people, as they were asking, I was saying, I don't know, but just talk to my husband. So that's how it started for me.
Yeah. Becca, what were your first thoughts as someone who has such a distinct background in health and wellness? What were your thoughts when your husband introduced it to you? Because for some of us, we feel very intimidated to speak to physicians and chiropractors and nutritionists. And honestly, I've spoken to over 3,000 people. I've signed up over 600. And wow. I still sometimes get, some funky attitudes. I recently spoke to a nutritionist, and she probably felt the way you did. She said, I don't believe in supplementation. She goes, if you can't grow it, eat it out of your garden, she goes, then it's not for me.
Yeah.
Is that kind of what you thought about it?
Yeah, it is 100%. Yeah. Yes, 100%. And, ego is something that we all struggle with, whether we're a health professional or not. My advice in those situations when talking with health professionals or people within the fitness industry or the health and wellness industry is build relationships with them. Don't go into the conversation wanting to sign them up for Isagenix. Go into the conversation, as we should all conversations, just wanting to make a new friend.
Yes.
Because ultimately, they're not going to care. They just want to know that you care about them. Yeah. And in any situation where we have linked arms with a health and wellness professional, it's never with the intention of them and their tribe or their community. It's always about, this is how this can help your busy life right now. Because health and wellness professionals, they are stressed to the max. Yeah. They are looking for our tagline is eat healthy, easy, right? We hashtag that all the time. That everybody wants that. Yeah. And so if you can just spend time in those conversations, and I know it can be intimidating, but I think it takes a lot of that pressure off of you feeling like, maybe you don't, know everything you need to know, or let all that go and just be a friend and just build a relationship, and then just relate with them. Listen to what they tell you based on their schedule, or find little nuggets where you can say, hey, remember how you told me that? I don't know if this is for you, but this has totally changed my life, and this could be a solution for you in your life. And that's kind of, I know that anytime you're in a conversation with somebody and you're wanting to share, going in with that mindset rather than, you want to sign them up, you want to get them started, because yes, we know how bad they need it, but just being relational is the most important part.
You know what? That's such a wonderful point, is building a relationship. I think I just met her, and she was doing meal prep, and she was promoting another company. And I said, well, hey, look, if you're interested in promoting Isagenix, I would be happy to promote your food service. Maybe we can help each other. Maybe I didn't formulate the relationship, and she started schooling me on natural foods, and she got crazy. And come to find out, after speaking with her a little bit more, she goes, I know how this works. I've done Arbonne before. And then you dig a little deeper, what you come to discover, and it's nothing personal. I mean, you just knew what you knew, and you didn't know what you didn't know. So instead of taking it as like a personal attack, being like, oh my God, I can't ever speak to anyone again. You think, you know what? She doesn't know and she's not ready. And you kind of dust it off and you keep going.
You do. And you want to avoid words like promote or business or because they can't think about that. You have to remember, you guys, that health and wellness professionals are being bombarded with stuff all the time. Okay. And they're being, promoted with stuff all the time. And so if you can just build a friendship and just get, lots in common with them. And then from a caring perspective, just say, you should just try this for yourself, not about promoting it, not about selling it, but because honestly, if they're not using it themselves, they have no credibility in it anyway.
Absolutely.
So, that mindset shift can make a really big difference when talking to health and wellness professionals.
Absolutely. And you know what? Be different. Don't be like everyone else coming in trying to promote the products. Be that one special person that says, you know what? Let's go out to lunch. I love you. I think you're awesome. Like, build a relationship. Don't try to push anything on them.
Yes.
So your husband is having insane results. You're like, holy smackadoodles, you look great. And I mean, you're like, and so you kind of say, you know what, let me give it a try. What were your personal results with the program? What did you start experiencing and how soon?
Yeah. So before Isagenix, I didn't have weight to lose, you guys. I am that. You can share my story anytime as you hear it, if this relates with anybody that you're getting to know. I didn't have weight to lose, but I was crashing really hard at 3:00 in the afternoon, just napping all the time, kind of feeling like I was in a mental fog. And so within the first week of really getting the shakes in my body, the ionics in my body, I hadn't even done a cleanse day yet. It felt like someone had plugged me into an outlet and I lit up from the inside. And, that was a huge eye-opener for me because in all honesty, I thought I felt pretty good. I kind of was like, oh, this is just the way that it is. I guess I'm just going to be napping every day at 3. I watched my mom nap growing up. Like, I was like, oh, this is something I do. But I got better things on my plate. I don't have time for that, right? So it was very quickly. And, it's a testimony to this amazing nutrition. When your cells start absorbing nutrients that we're not getting from eating clean, and we were the foodie, eat clean, prep everything, nothing out of a box, but it's not enough. And when you can really understand that it's not enough and you feel the difference of what that does for you when you finally flood your body with what it's been missing, especially those trace minerals, those are the spark plugs of life. And so for me, it was very quickly the energy, I'm not needing to nap anymore, deeper sleep, mental fog lifted, more patience, Hala Ionics, mommy sanity in a bottle, right? So, it's
amazing.
And listen, I'm going to be I'm very transparent. I did not like the first shake I ever had. I didn't like the texture of it. I didn't like the flavor of it. And my husband said, stop talking, keep getting it in your body. You need this. And within 3 days, I was craving it. And I know a lot of people can relate with that story, but that's important to remember when people are getting started. And it also is a reminder of, you got to really coach and support your people. You got to know what they're experiencing, what they're going through, so that you can work them through those things to get your retention up. Because look, if I would have had one shake and Ryan wouldn't have persistently said, you need to keep getting this in your body, I probably wouldn't have kept drinking it. Yeah. But my taste buds were used to different flavors, and we're so used to sweet things. And within days, I was craving it.
Yeah, that's so important. So, so you get started. You're like, oh my God! And how do you start sharing it? Online, offline, with girlfriends, without? Because you're in the fitness business, but with kids, right? So you're not, you don't really have a client base. How do you begin your business?
Well, let me backtrack a little bit. Because remember, I used the products for a good year and a half, and anybody that was asking me, I would just filter them to Ryan. And the reason why, you guys, is because, so we always tell people you want to evaluate your belief in 5 areas. Your belief in the products, your belief in the company of Isagenix, your belief in the compensation plan, your belief in the profession of network marketing, and your belief in yourself. And the goal is that you really want to be 10 feet 10, 11 feet 10, and bulletproof in those areas. Well, I was pretty high in most of those areas, except my belief in the profession of network marketing was a -10. And I'm not kidding. Actually, the first event we ever went to, they had us fill out on a piece of paper. Here was the scale, 0 to 10. And I was like so mad to be there. And I'm like scribbling over here, like -10, blah. I wanted nothing to do with network marketing. So when your belief is very low in something in the profession of network marketing, it is very challenging to share. So to answer your question, in the time frame of this making sense, I had to really go to work in building my belief in network marketing. You see, for Ryan, he believed. He knew what this company was going to do for our family. He knew that it was going to bring him home. We were going to be full-time family. He knew that the impact it was going to have in this world was beyond anything we were doing in our work before. He knew. He had the vision. And a lot of people say, well, how did you then get on board to even want to build your belief? And frankly, it got to a point, you guys, where I said, I can either be a supportive spouse or I can continue to be a thorn on my husband's side, and this is going to be miserable. And I saw the joy that he had from being part of this company that I couldn't deny that. So the reason I want to tell you guys that is because a lot of people come in with unsupportive spouse or unsupportive friends. And what I wanted to say to you guys is you need to be so anchored in why you want to keep sharing this that unwavers you. You have to be unshakable because the people around you will not be able to deny the impact that you're having in people's lives. Yeah. They can't. I mean, think about it. There's people that do things that I don't agree with, but they're so confident and solid and anchored in why they do it that who am I to say don't do that? So that's why we talk so much about your belief has to be so strong. So for me, I started going to events. And honestly, you guys, I started going because I needed a weekend away from my kids. I was like, oh, I'm gonna get a weekend away. I'm gonna come back refreshed, spend some time with my husband. Little did I know I was gonna be in a room with 3,000 people hugging each other. And it was Isagenix events, right? And you fall in love with the culture. And so then I just slowly started building my belief. And then for me, it became pretty easy to share after that because I thought to myself, I share stuff I love all the time. All the time. So why is this any different?
Do you feel like initially, like you weren't really on board, you weren't really into it, but you saw that it made Ryan happy, so you kind of said, you know what, I'm just going to be cool and support him. And then you went to an event, not really to build a business, but just to have like a couple's weekend away. What was it at that event, Becca, that made you feel like, wow, this is something special? Because now we have an event coming up, ICU University in New Jersey. And for me, that first ICU, it really changed my business because I went to Celebration in August, but I knew a bunch of New Yorkers were not going to get on a plane and come with me just because I said, like it takes a lot for somebody to get on a plane, go to Vegas in the middle of August, leave their family, spend money. So I took advantage of this local event. And it was this local event that really set a fire in my business. What do you think it is about events that really make you believe in all 5 categories? Honestly, all 5, because yes, you learn about the company. Yes, you learn about the comp plan. We all love the products. That's a given. That's why we're all here. But something magical happens at those events that not only makes you believe in the industry, but it really makes you believe in yourself. And it makes you think, you know what? She can do it. She can do it. He can do it. Why can't I? And that's how I walked away. What was it for you, that first event, that made you a believer?
It was the same. It was the same thing that you just said. Watching people, hearing stories, sitting next to people, and building relationships with people, that just makes you realize, like you said, if they can do it, why can't I? Why can't I? And look, the Isagenix events are, they're transformational. Our goal every year is to get butts and seats at events because we know that the impact that has, you can't walk away from an event. As a matter of fact, I tell my team, I say, if you walk away from that event and you feel like it was a waste of your time, I'll pay for your travel, because I know that it's not going to do that. It makes it come alive. you know, we get this beautiful brown box that shows up on our doorstep multiple times a month if you live in my house because we eat so much of it. But when you get to an event, it makes it come alive. It makes you realize it's so much more. And our culture, you can't experience our culture without being an event. I felt like I was at church. You know, I'm like, this is how church should be. We're hugging everybody and everyone's supporting each other. And truly, you know, my first events, I sat in the back of the room, you know, for the first couple years of our events. And I looked at Ryan, you know, probably year 3 in, and I said, I am not sitting back at the room ever again. Ever again. And so I would just sneak my way up to the front. You probably saw me, like, I'm not even supposed to be up there. I was sitting up there and making friends with, you know, the people that I admired and I was in line with. And that's what you got to do. And you got to link arms with those people, but it just makes it come to life.
Yeah. And it was so crazy. Like my first event, I saw Jill birth. I mean, we've all seen the Jill birth video and we've cried at her journey and we've felt inspired going through our own. And I literally saw her in the bathroom and I cornered her in the bathroom. And I was like, can we take a selfie? And, you know, like you get to talk with them, with these people. And it's so funny because we see like Emily and Hayden like on the Facebook and like on the videos, and you think of them as kind of like little celebrities and then that you can't be like them. And then you meet these people at events and you realize, holy cow, these are normal people just like you and me who decided to give a hoot a little bit less of what people thought and just really go for it. And I mean, for you, it must have been tough knowing everything you know and letting go of all these things, you know, all these biases and all these, you know, things that we grew up knowing that this way is better and that way is better. And I have to be honest, you know, once you let go and you're just willing to embrace it and go for it, I feel like magic happens. Magic happens.
It does. And I, you know, we all come into this. Well, most people I know. So just to paint a picture for you guys, we have no background in network marketing. In 5 years, we've never brought anyone into our organization, not one that has any background in network marketing, because we don't know those people, right? So that wasn't us. And so we all come in saying yes to a product. We want a product experience. We get our story. What you realize as you continue on this journey is, and I say this in the end of our video our success video that they showed at NYKO, is the sooner you can let go of you creating your story and helping other people create their stories is really when the magic happens.
Yeah.
And along that journey of helping other people create their stories, your story is just going to keep getting better and better. So, you know, and for me and Ryan, we were always saying as health and wellness professionals, we always wanted a vehicle to help people. We were doing that before, but we always had this burning desire inside of us, like, oh, we're just tapped out with our resources. We're tapped out with our time. How can we help more? We wanted to give more, but you know, if Ryan wasn't treating a patient, we weren't getting paid. If I wasn't teaching a fitness class for kids, I wasn't getting paid. Like, we were just tapped out. And so when I finally really, really immerse myself and learn about this profession, it is so beautiful when done right. And it's not about our story anymore. Now it's about the amount of stories that we can help create.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. You know what, growing up, I think a lot of us were not taught to believe that we're capable of anything and everything is possible. I mean, I don't know about you, but when I was growing up, my family never said, you're going to be successful, you're going to be a millionaire, you can live your dreams, you can do whatever you want. And we just weren't raised that way. We were raised to go to work, get a job, get a good pension. And then you you find something like this where you can put your family first and you can put your God first and really build in the pockets of your spare time. And because of this residual income, I mean, the people whose lives that you touch, and then they help people and they help people and they help people. And before you know it, I mean, your organization is huge. How many people would you say that you've sponsored in the 5 years to get you to the millionaire that you are today? Rough estimate.
Oh my gosh, Ryan.
You're not crazy. You don't count like me? Well,
no.
Here's a
fun fact. I look at no numbers. Other than we hit 7-star, I would have no idea what we earn. I'm not driven that way. So corporate always laughs at me because I have no idea. I would literally have to ask Ryan. A couple hundred.
Well, tell me, what are your basic practices? What are your must-dos? Because for every successful business, you've got to have some simple basic practices.
Yes. So every day, write down your goals. Every day.
Okay.
Every day. So this is my little goal book, and every day I write down. So we hit 7 stars. So I'm now writing, I am 8 star. And you write it in a current state of mind, not I will be, I am. So I am earning over 1 million per year. I am, right? So you want to write down your goals, and they should include your rank, your income goal, your team goal, your goals for your team, contribution goal. So I write down how much I want to give per year. And then fun stuff, like I write down every day, I want to take my family on all expense paid vacations, things like that. And it comes, so must write down your goals and your gratitudes. Because if we are casting a vision for our goals, but we're forgetting to stay grounded and grateful for where we are right now, that's where you can really paralyze yourself and you get into the comparison game. And so we always want to remember every day, be grateful for where you are right now. Wow. So that's first. Then, I don't know if you guys can see this little board behind me here. Every day, it's the power of 3. I think Michael Klaus taught this early on. Eric Worre teaches this. So power of 3. Connect with 3 new people every day. And these are people that you have not had conversation with. And it could be like, hey, I'd love to grab coffee. Or like that person we were talking about earlier, like, oh my gosh, you're just so fun. Let's grab lunch, right? So connect with 3 new people every day. Okay?
Got it.
Follow up with 3 people every day. Follow up with 3 people every day, and then pour love onto 3 people every day. And I was just chatting with a girl on our team today. She's kind of stuck in a rut. She's so up in her head. Oftentimes when we're stuck in a rut, it's because we're thinking about ourselves. And so I said, you know what? Before you go to bed tonight, you need to pour gratitude into 10 people today. And just go send them a message. I'm thinking about you, love you, saw that post. So the power of 3 is powerful. So we do that every day. And we touch our business every single day by doing that. Tracy O'Malley taught me that 3 years ago. She said, Becca, you touch your business every single day. And we really do. It's really important for people to understand that we work really hard, as I know you do. Yes, we were able to build a 6-figure residual income within a year and a half in the pockets of our time. And what a amazing blessing that is with the compensation plan that we have, that Isagenix makes that possible. Yeah. Some are going to go fast, some are going to go slow. The key is that you go. But if you can just literally touch your business every single day, even if it's just the power of 3, imagine how many conversations you would have if you connected with 3 new people every day.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I say 3 people a day, 3 story shares a day, 5 days a week is 60 people a month. If you can do that, over the course of the year, you're talking to over 70 people every year. And out of those, even if you're like the worst, it's 700, not 70.
Yeah.
So even if you are like the worst enroller ever, you're having 700 conversations, you're going to get better. And Jim Rohn said, you know what, even if you stink, you talk to 10, you'll sign up 1. You get a little better, you talk to 10, you'll sign up 2. And that's the progression of numbers. And I tell you, Tracy and I, we won President's Quest together. And she is incredible. And this woman went from being a car salesman woman to really rocking and rolling her business and being in the top 50. And it was exactly what Becca does, talking to 3 people a day, 3 follow-ups, and just loving on your team, talking to 3 people and seeing how they're doing, what they're up to, how you can assist them. And I think it's important. It's about being in action. And honestly, I can tell you, I don't put in 8-hour days. I don't. You make gym time, you make family time, you make homework time. And what I like about it is you get a call in here, you get a call in there. You do it when and how you can. Tell me the perks, the best things about being your own boss? What do you absolutely love about this?
Well, freedom, just being able to wake up every day and decide what your day is going to look like is such a blessing. Before Isagenix, Brian and I, we never saw each other. He was gone all the time between his private practice and teaching at Montana State. He'd leave at 7 a.m, get home at 7 p.m. The kids would go to bed at 7:30, and then we're like striving for the weekend. It is amazing thing, but for a lot of people, it's very, it's a huge learning curve to be your own boss. It's like you said earlier, we're wired to go to school, to get a job. And with this, you have to hold yourself accountable. You have to put on the CEO hat and say, all right, I'm in charge of my business here. We all have the same products, the same tools, the same compensation plan, the same profession. Why do some people, succeed and others don't? There can be a number of factors, but one is those that are showing up and doing the thing every single day consistently. But yeah, oh my gosh, total freedom is something everybody should experience, and amazing.
What I would say, it really is incredible, and you're 100% right. I think most people are so trained and programmed to punch a clock and report to Mr. Jones. And if Mr. Jones says papers are due, that's when you put the pedal to the metal. For some people, the hardest part is holding themselves accountable and remembering that you're the boss. So if let's say you own a bakery shop or a pizzeria or whatever, and the busiest times are the week of Christmas, you're not going to open your store at 3 and close at 7. You're going to get your butt up early. You're going to open the shop at 7 a.m. You're going to close the shop at midnight, and you're going to hustle. Yeah. And this is your shop. And I think that people take for granted that this is $1 million business. You are a business owner. You have the key. What you do with it is up to you. Now, I don't push or pressure anyone. So I walk with the walkers. I run with the runners. But I'm a freaking runner. I'm a whole asser. Is, what I want it. So a couple things that help me tremendously is I have a planner. And I heard very, very early on in the game that if you don't have a schedule, if you don't have your appointments filled here, then you have a hobby. You don't have a business. So seeing this planner every day on my desk, I say, holy cow, it's Thursday. I have 0 appointments for Thursday. I better get on that. And I've got everybody penciled in for Friday. So seeing this physical planner on my desk, it keeps me grounded and it keeps me accountable. Yeah. Another tool that has helped me immensely is listening to the podcasts, because people like Susan Sly, like Michael Klaus, like Lynn Hagedorn, like Lisa DeMeo, like Learning from You, Becca. Every time I listen to a podcast, every time I hear a success story, I'm not going to be exactly like you. I'm not going to be the next Susan, but I can take pieces of what she's done and make it my own. So what are some tools that you think has really helped you grow into the incredible leader that you are today?
Yeah. Well, and I think that's the key too, is leadership. Some people, you can come in and you can be a rolling machine, but if you're not a strong leader, your retention is going to be very low. So we should always be striving to grow as leaders. John Maxwell is my personal favorite leadership development mentor. I read all of his stuff. You kind of have to evaluate where you need to grow the most, in those 5 areas of belief. Yeah. So for me, I'm always learning to grow in the profession of network marketing. In my leadership, John Maxwell's my guy. Even people like Lewis Howes has an amazing podcast, School of Greatness. He's so good. So just, you are the sum of the 5 people that you're around with the most. And if you're looking at your life right now and you think about the people that you're surrounding yourself with and you don't feel like you're growing, then you need to get surrounded by people that are where you want to be. And for early on, because I didn't have personal relationships with Lynn and Michael, or with Emily and Hayden, or with Kelly and Tyler, my mentors were authors. So I dove into books, and this is coming from a girl who I hated to read. I would come up with every excuse in the book to not read, but there's so many resources now with podcasts, like you said, or audiobooks. So you should always be, and that's another thing I was going to add, a daily thing also is personal development. It can even be 10, 15 minutes, but something so you're always growing and going to work on your subconscious mind so that you can create that identity of where you see yourself being. Because if you can't see yourself there, the bottom line is it's not going to happen.
Becca, what do you think makes you a good leader, and what are some things that you do as a leader? I know for me, the important part is really getting them through that first week. An important thing for me is really just to kind of coach them effectively. I've built my business on Facebook, so I want to teach them the ins and outs of Facebook. And then I also want to be kind of supportive and assist them with three-way phone calls. And then once they start getting the gist of it, I let go a little bit. I let go, and I kind of try to, encourage them to grow their wings and now start doing the same thing. I learned early on from Chris Nish, 1 week you're enrolling, the next you're teaching them how to enroll. Some people get so caught up in being a leader that they go into total psychotic management mode, and they're like dictating and telling the team what to do. That's not being a good leader. For me, being a good leader is if I'm telling everyone, or not telling them, but if I'm, encouraging my team, let's run for Crystal Executive. For me, being a good leader is doing first. So tell me, what are some no-nos about leadership, and what are some things that make somebody a wonderful leader in your opinion?
Well, I think that you just summarized it perfectly in your last statement. Is you need to be doing the do all the time. So we are always enrolling. Kathy Cooper still says 80% of your time is connecting and enrolling. And there have been seasons in our business where we have slipped into that management mode, and you learn, we're always learning. And that's not a good place to be. So, you do whatever you're suggesting and encouraging your team to do, you need to be out in front doing that thing. Yeah. We have a lot of really good systems that we use in our team. We have our health page. We have a business page on Facebook. We run something called the Fast Track, which is people can opt into that. It's very tight, and there's a lot of accountability in there. I have found that people really do like accountability. They like that fear of missing out. And when we created this Fast Track program, we created assignments and made people do things. And I would say, if you don't turn in your assignment, you're getting kicked out. And it was kind of funny, but at the same time, they're like, oh my gosh, but it really caused people to step up and do the thing. But really, really good leaders are relatable. They're humble. They are not in the front. They're not as, how do I say it? They're doing the thing, but it's not the Ryan and Becca show. It's not the Angela show. It's let's do this together type of thing. And it's like you said, the ones that show up and do or you run with them, and the ones that aren't, we let them know that that's okay. So that's another thing I was going to say on leadership is it's really, really important to know where your people are at. Using things like, the new associate interview, or just, vision casting with them. So I tell my people all the time, I did it today with a gal in Maryland, actually, East Coast. And I said, look, I want to know what your goals are, because I don't want my goals to not be in line with your goals for you. And I'm going to push you, but because you have to be able to relate with your people. I think oftentimes leaders have expectations for their people that are above what they should be, just because they don't really take that time to build that personal relationship and get that intimate, like, okay, on the same page, let's go.
Yeah, I think that's such a wonderful point, and I think for me that's my biggest takeaway tonight is you really have to ask people where they're at, because I have to tell you honestly, I put my brother in this business and I was like, dude, you're gonna do great, you're gonna make a killing, you're gonna rock and roll with me. And he's like, and she's like, I just want to drink some shakes. He goes, I never want to talk to anyone about this. And I think sometimes, you know, you're trying to be a good coach and you want it so bad and you see so much potential in them that often you might scare the bejeez out of them. And I love how beautifully that was said. All you said was, what are your goals? Because I want to make sure that my goals for you are in line with your goals for you. And
Yes.
that's such a great, beautiful, gracious way to say it, because now you're being respectful of what they want, but now you're completely opening up an entire dialogue for conversation.
Right. And remembering too that, you know, less than 1% of anybody that comes in Isagenix is going to do what you and I do. That's just a reality. Most people are just going to be social sharers, like over 85, 86%, right? And then, you know, another 10, 15%, you know, are going to get some residual cash flow. But so again, like that can be frustrating for people like us that are very driven and really want to run, like we're runners, right? We want to go fast. We just have to really remember that majority of people, they're not going to want to do that. That's just the reality. And, you know, our business truly will always be built on product users, and be okay with that and love your product users, right?
But I love that when we were at an event and we heard Jim Coover say that 83% of our clients are repeat clientele. And how awesome is that for our business? Because this is your grocery store. So
Yeah.
you don't want people coming in and just buying a shake and never coming back. I mean, we've got 80 different products. So I mean, look at what happened with chocolate mint. Look at how many people rank advanced, you know, 300 cycles because of chocolate mint. It's crazy. So, I mean, you have to think about it. These are happy residual clients. And if they're happy and if they tell a friend or two and they tell a friend or two, I mean, this is, you know, it's just an incredible thing to really be a part of.
And remember that when you help somebody say yes to Isagenix, that is just the beginning.
Yeah.
So I sometimes, you know, people say yes and we're like, oh, yes, right? And then, like, if we're not strong leaders, we forget. That is literally just the beginning.
Yeah.
So you want to have very systemized organizational things in place so that you can make sure that you're following up with your people, staying in, you know, connected to your people, loving on your people, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. We've had something called the 5 simple touches, which kind of gives you an outline of when to contact them, how to contact them. So as long as you're following a system, you know, and you're reaching out to people, that's going to bring you the success. It's never just about an enrollment, because a successful, happy enrollment, you know, once they're experiencing results, people will see, they will share if they're open to posting on Facebook. Now you've opened up an entire new demographic of wonderful people that, you know, are going to get excited about it.
Yeah.
So,
And be okay if people stop. You have to let that go.
yeah.
It's very hard because you're like, well, you know, you got to let it go and just know that, just keep sharing.
Yeah, you know what? I think the longer you do this, you just you stop being so attached to the craziness. Like I will sign someone up and she's like, I love it. I'm vacuuming at 11 o'clock at night. I feel great. And then I get an email that says return.
Yes.
And then I'm like,
That's all of us.
I'm like, Colleen, you told me you loved it. She goes, it didn't agree with me. I said, when? You were vacuuming your house. What didn't agree with you? But you know what? You stop analyzing. Then you'll have somebody and you're building a great relationship, and all of a sudden they go into the witness protection program. And you know what? This is a part of our profession. You have to smile and be graceful and take it with a grain of salt, right? Teddy said yes. Everyone agrees, because we're here to find people that, you know, feel it and see it and want it like us. And I heard.
Well, and listen, you're finding people, but as your posture and your belief is strong, you know what? Those people are going to come to you.
Yes.
You're going to feel like you're not having to find them as much. I mean, sure, there's a responsibility in always sharing the story every day and connecting, but you're just going to find that you're just going to start to track more people that are serious and really want it, because you can't, like I said before, you can't deny unshakable belief in something.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? More people will be inclined to you when they feel and see that you're serious. Nobody wants to sign up with someone flaky who's one day promoting isogenics and health loss, and then the next day they're eating burritos and drinking margaritas on Facebook.
Right.
You've got to be the product of the product. You've got to portray yourself as a professional. You've got to show up and project to people who you are. And you know what? If you are 100% in your belief system, people are going to take you seriously. You know, and it really is about setting standards. And if you set a standard in your business and you're like, I am going to tell everyone about the President's Pack because I believe that that is the most valuable. I am not going to share the 9-day with anyone because it doesn't meet my whatever your business standards are. My standards are, I don't go to sleep until I talk to 3 people a day. And when I'm blitzing, it's 7.
Right.
So you've got to set the lines and the guidelines. And guys, I know that many of us have families and kids and real jobs. I mean, Becca and Ryan did this in the pockets of their spare time. They hit millions in 5 years. That's something to think about.
Let me add something to that, because I see this a lot. Don't let your current job or a spouse or busyness or your kids be an excuse. Let them be the reason.
Yeah.
So I see a lot of moms that are like, I don't have time for this. My kids are all over. My daughter walked behind me a little bit ago. I don't know if you guys saw her. She snuck behind me. When they stop being my excuse, and Ryan's the one who told me, he said, the kids aren't, they need to be your reason why. And it was like, oh my gosh, you're right. They are my reason why. So let those things be your reason why by having, Dominic said he saw Brookie, but by knowing where this is going to take you.
Yeah. So is Ryan there? Does he want to wave hello?
He's downstairs with the kids. I said, get downstairs and don't let the kids come up. And then sure enough, Brookie runs up. So he's not doing a very good job. Just kidding.
I have to thank you. I think you're amazing. I think you give so many of us hope. You know, I see people from Brooklyn, New York, and they say, I don't have anyone to talk to. I mean, you were from Montana. Hello. All the excuses go out the window. When you want it bad enough, you're going to do whatever the heck you need to do to make this happen. And you guys did. I mean, you guys did. Your husband is home more. You know, so give me a few ways that your life has changed. I know that you're spending more time together.
Yeah, well, we're a full-time family now. So Ryan completely retired his physical therapy practice and teaching professor at Montana State. My small business kind of runs itself. So we moved to Boise, Idaho in June, so we're not in Montana anymore. We moved to a bigger city to spread our wings a little bit more, but we're here all the time. We take our kids to school every day together. We work out together. We have dinner together. We share desks side by side, which is kind of fun sometimes. You're just that dynamic of working with your spouse, but it's a beautiful thing to have that freedom. We're going to load up our camper and drive around the country for 40 days this summer. We did that 2 years ago. And how cool is that, you guys, that we can pick our family up, live out of a camper for 40 days and build a business and get paid the whole time. And we do speaking events as we go. So it's such a blessing.
Yeah, it's never the money. It's really about the life and the stress-free and the things that you can do as a result of it. And to be able to have these, just things that people take for granted, like driving your kids to school, picking them up, showing up for games, paying for summer camp, or taking a trip and not having to worry about it. I mean, it's incredible. So I hope this call gave everyone some tidbits of information, some hope. I think these guys are incredible. They deserve every bit of that 7-star and millionaire status. I was so happy to meet Becca backstage, and I'm so happy you came on tonight. Does anyone have any questions? If you do, you can I don't know if you can unmute yourself, but raise your hand and I'll unmute you. Anyone have any questions, anything that they want to add? Just give me a little wave. I'm going to unmute you, Ed. There you go.
Bessie. It says Bessie. I just wanted to say thank you so much. You know, I get on calls all the time and I always learn something new. And what I love about People in Isagenix is the leaders is you guys are like real people. You know, and I think people need to understand that you don't have to be somebody you're not to be successful in this business. And I really love that about you. I mean, you're just, even through Zoom, you're like genuine.
I guarantee you, Ed, that Becca is a yellow just like you.
I'm actually more red, I think. But I would argue that my yellow is as equal as my red for sure. But I just want to say something too to you guys that are listening. Some people say, well, and thank you so much, Ed, I really appreciate those words.
Ed just hit 6-star. 6-star golden circle.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Right, that's amazing. You know, some people assume that because Ryan and I had a background in health and wellness that lended itself to our success. And what I want to tell you is, in all honesty, you guys, that kind of hurt us early on because early on in our business, we were not duplicatable because we were so good at explaining all the science and all the stuff that we would bring people in and we can enroll people, but they would be so scared to share with anybody because they were like, I can't talk like you or Ryan. I don't know that stuff. And when we started saying, you know what, I'm going to connect you with somebody who can answer, and we stopped being the expert and we started using the tools and using the podcast, that's when magic really started to happen because that's when we started to duplicate. I just really wanted to be clear on that. Anybody can do this. As a matter of fact, our biggest business builders, they don't have backgrounds in health and wellness. They're moms, you know, that just love people. So anyone can do this. Follow the systems, like you guys are doing, and the sky's the limit. It's so fun. Yeah. Just don't quit. The only way to fail is to quit.
I love it. I love it. Does anyone else? We'll take one more question and then we're going to let her run. She locked Ryan in the basement. Anyone, if you have a question, just give me a wave. All right, well, let's unmute everyone and let's just tell her what an incredible job she did. At the count of 3, let's give a big woohoo. 1, 2, 3.
Great job.
Thank you, Becca. Awesome job.
Thank you for this.
Thank you, Becca. Great job. Thanks, Ange.
Thank you.
Angela, thank you for inviting me on.
Anytime, Teddy. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for a great call.
Yo, girls, go to
Bye, Anne. Bye, sweetheart.